Hey gang, Mocha Boy here. Welcome back, and thanks for tuning back in. So we're going to cover one attack in a little bit more detail than we normally do for this. This attack was by Grizz. Grizz is one of our elders, one of our longtime members. He's well versed in a lot of different style of attacks, whether they're air or ground. And for this particular attack, he chose to do hogs. But not just any type of hogs. This was a surgical hog attack. Now the reason that was chosen for this particular base was because of a couple of different strategic things. Number one, this is where we knew where most of the defenses were and where the bombs were. So there were a set of double giant bombs in the core, but what really jumped out at us was the fact that all of these point defenses are on the perimeter. Now, point defenses are interesting because if you can tie them up long enough, it doesn't take very many hogs to take down perimeter defenses. And when they're laid out in kind of this this layered fashion, where they're all kind of in the same plane, this makes it so that you can take out an entire wall of point defenses simultaneously and then move on to the weaker splash defenses in the second layer. So perimeter defenses on the exterior, splash defenses on the interior, and then you can take them in stages. Now, there's really no science to surgical hogging. All surgical hogging is taking the whatever your initial allocation of hogs and then swapping out 4 hogs for 5 giants. The reason that those 5 giants are important, or 6 giants or whatever, is that you will use those giants to shield 2 groups of hogs. And then on a base like this, what you can do is your goal is to figure out a way to soak up 2 point defenses, and then that. You're looking at about, I would say, 160 DPS, and giants at that level have about 900 plus hit points. So that he'll stay up for probably a good 6 to 8 seconds, and that gives you enough time to sprinkle in some hogs to take out these guys. So about 3 apiece, or 3 and 2, that's usually good. You do 3 so that this guy goes down really fast, then moves on to here, and then moves onto there, and they kind of move down in this direction. So while that's happening, now the thing about the way surgical hogs works is that you want to do things simultaneously. So you want giants to soak up point defenses like this, and your goal again is to get about 2 point defenses, maximum 3, to focus on those giants while you send in hogs to take out these point defenses. And it's about 3, sometimes 4, sometimes 2 hogs per defense, because once this wall goes down, there's really nothing but splash defenses left, and these guys are much weaker when it comes to taking them down. And then if you can time it just right, all of your hogs will converge on the core to take out the remaining expos. As far as heals go, you want to heal kind of around the whiz towers, because they will they'll present some of the biggest problems for your hogs, especially if your hogs clump up. And one of the other interesting things about using surgical hogs is, let's say for the sake of argument, there are 2 double giant, or there's a single giant double giant bomb right there. So as your hogs path through, they get murdered by the double giant bomb, right? If you're doing surgical hogs, what you're doing is you're splitting your forces into manageable pockets. But what they're doing is they're taking out all of these defenses simultaneously, dropping the entire base's effective DPS by whatever 500 DPS on this wall. But as these troops path through this section, the only thing you're sacrificing are 3 hogs. These other 9 are free to continue to roam throughout the base with 1 less set of double giant bombs to have to worry about. So that's another strategic consideration about why this works, and why it would even work on a base with double giant bombs. But again, when you watch this replay, pay attention to the where the giants get deployed and the hogs that get deployed behind them. You want to drop your giants, wait for the defenses to lock on them, and then drop your hogs to take out those defenses, and then move on throughout the rest of the base. So let's go ahead and take a look at how he was able to do this. Now the base was, I believe, an easy lure. Let's take a look. What did he do for this? So 1 giant. And of course the lure is trapped, but he was able to respond pretty quickly to that. So 1 giant, couple hogs, and he's able to start dumping out this castle. And once they're all dumped out, they're all clumped up nice for a poison, so you can just drop that poison and just wait for that to do its work. poisons that that great spell that nobody asked for but everybody loves in this patch, as one person mentioned. Now the kill team's going to come in from the northwest, and this is pretty standard fare, just cutting a nice funnel. This is a shattered go attack, go ho attack, and the point here was to try to disable whatever bombs were kind of in these corners here, using some of the skeletons, and then jump the kill team into the core to take out the AQ. And that happened pretty much as planned. His kill team did survive those double giant bombs, those big bombs, excuse me, and the rest of his heroes are able to go in and then trigger out those other bombs. Now look at what happened here on the southwest side. He's already started his surgical attack. He's taken out an entire wall in a staggered fashion, and then these hogs are going to survive to move on to this side of the base. But he's already relieved this entire side of its defenses, and then they're free to move on, to continue moving on throughout the base. And again, one of the great things about this attack, and you'll see this towards the end, is watch how many hogs he has left over. We're not talking about like 3 or 4 hogs. This was one of their top Town Hall 9 bases. He's got something like, let's see, I forget the exact count, but it was something like 12 or 14 hogs. I did count at one point. So he had better than 50% of his hogs left over by the end of this raid. So again, just a quick recap. Send in 2 golems against these max defense bases. That'll free you up to take about 20 hogs, but make sure you swap out at least a few hogs for a few giants. Those giants are as good as bringing 2 hogs. Deploy those giants to soak up at least 2 to 3 defenses, preferably 2, but a maximum of 3. And of course, it all depends on what level the defenses are. You want those giants to stay up for about 6 to 8 seconds, and then that's just enough time for the hogs to sneak in, take out those point defenses, and then move on throughout the rest of the base. But if you can take out, in this particular attack, he took out almost an entire wall of defenses without losing any hogs, or losing very few hogs, and then those hogs can move, can go on to process the rest of the base. So fantastic execution here, good funnel mechanics, great execution on the kill team, and the jump into the core. This is a perfect example of the style of attack we're trying to teach the rest of our members. So great job there.